1 Beyond. 1. A recent study from Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, called When Too Much of a Good Thing May Be Bad, indicates that classrooms with too much decoration are a source of distraction for young children and directly affect their cognitive performance. 2. Being visually overstimulated, the children have a great deal of difficulty concentrating and end up with worse academic results. 3. On the other hand, if there is not much decoration on the classroom walls, the children are less distracted, spend more time on their activities, and learn more. 4. So it's our job, in order to support their attention, to find the right balance between excessive decoration and the complete absence of it. 2 Beyond. 1. For creatures like us, evolution smiled upon those with a strong need to belong. 2. Survival and reproduction are the criteria of success by natural selection, and forming relationships with other people can be useful for both survival and reproduction. 3. Groups can share resources, care for sick members, scare off predators, fight together against enemies, divide tasks so as to improve efficiency, and contribute to survival in many other ways. 4. In particular, if an individual and a group want the same resource, the group will generally prevail. So competition for resources would especially favor a need to belong. 5. Belongingness will likewise promote reproduction, such as by bringing potential mates into contact with each other, and in particular by keeping parents together to care for their children, who are much more likely to survive if they have more than one caregiver. 3. 1. It is widely believed that certain herbs somehow magically improve the work of certain organs and cure specific diseases as a result. 2. Such statements are unscientific and groundless. 3. Sometimes herbs appear to work, since they tend to increase your blood circulation in an aggressive attempt by your body to eliminate them from your system. 4. That can create a temporary feeling of a high, which makes it seem as if your health condition has improved. 5. Also, herbs can have a placebo effect, just like any other method, thus helping you feel better. 6. Whatever the case, it is your body that has the intelligence to regain health, and not the herbs. 7. How can herbs have the intelligence needed to direct your body into getting healthier? 8. That is impossible. 9. Try to imagine how herbs might come into your body and intelligently fix your problems. 10. If you try to do that, you will see how impossible it seems. 11. Otherwise, it would mean that herbs are more intelligent than the human body, which is truly hard to believe. 4. 1. We worry that the robots are taking our jobs, but just as common a problem is that the robots are taking our judgment. 2. In the large warehouses so common behind the scenes of today's economy, human pickers hurry around grabbing products off shelves and moving them to where they can be packed and dispatched. 3. In their ears are headpieces. The voice of Jennifer, a piece of software, tells them where to go and what to do, controlling the smallest details of their movements. 4. Jennifer breaks down instructions into tiny chunks to minimize error and maximize productivity. For example, rather than picking 18 copies of a book off a shelf, the human worker would be politely instructed to pick 5, then another 5, then yet another 5, then another 3. 6. Working in such conditions reduces people to machines made of flesh. 7. Rather than asking us to think or adapt, the Jennifer unit takes over the thought process and treats workers as an inexpensive source of some visual processing and a pair of opposable thumbs. 5. 1. The demand for freshness can have hidden environmental costs. 2. While freshness is now being used as a term in food marketing as part of a return to nature, the demand for year-round supplies of fresh produce such as soft fruit and exotic vegetables has led to the widespread use of hot houses in cold climates and increasing reliance on total quality control management by temperature control, use of pesticides and computer satellite-based logistics. 3. The demand for freshness has also contributed to concerns about food wastage. 4. Use of best before, sell by, and eat by labels has legally allowed institutional waste. 5. Campaigners have exposed the scandal of overproduction and waste. 6. Tristram Stewart, one of the global band of anti-waste campaigners, argues that, with freshly made sandwiches, overordering is standard practice across the retail sector. To avoid the appearance of empty shelf space, leading to high volumes of waste when supply regularly exceeds demand. 6. 1. In the studies of Colin Cherry at the Massachusetts Institute for Technology back in the 1950s, his participants listened to voices in one ear at a time, and then through both ears in an effort to determine whether we can listen to two people talk at the same time. 2. One ear always contained a message that the listener had to repeat back called shadowing, while the other ear included people speaking. 3. The trick was to see if you could totally focus on the main message, and also hear someone talking in your other ear. 4. Cleverly, Cherry found it was impossible for his participants to know whether the message in the other ear was spoken by a man or woman in English, or another language, or was even comprised of real words at all. 5. In other words, people could not process two pieces of information at the same time. 7. 1. Most people have a perfect time of day when they feel they are at their best, whether in the morning, evening, or afternoon. 2. Some of us are night owls. Some early birds and others in between may feel most active during the afternoon hours. 3. If you are able to organize your day and divide your work, make it a point to deal with tasks that demand attention at your best time of the day. 4. However, if the task you face demands creativity and novel ideas, it's best to tackle it at your worst time of day. 5. So if you are an early bird, make sure to attack your creative task in the evening, and vice versa for night owls. 6. When your mind and body are less alert than at your peak hours, the muse of creativity awakens and is allowed to roam more freely. 7. In other words, when your mental machinery is loose, rather than standing at attention, the creativity flows. 8. 1. Television is the #1 leisure activity in the United States and Europe, consuming more than half of our free time. 2. We generally think of television as a way to relax, tune out, and escape from our troubles for a bit each day. 3. While this is true, there is increasing evidence that we are more motivated to tune in to our favorite shows and characters when we are feeling lonely or have a greater need for social connection. 4. Television watching does satisfy these social needs to some extent, at least in the short run. 5. Unfortunately, it is also likely to crowd out other activities that produce more sustainable social contributions to our social well-being. 6. The more television we watch, the less likely we are to volunteer our time or to spend time with people in our social networks. 7. In other words, the more time we make for friends, the less time we have for friends in real life.